like this hair, nasal flaring. I was like, man, she looked like a dragon lady.
Before nursing school, I was flooded with church projects and parties for my kids.
Before nursing school, there wasn't a sale I didn't attend. But then there was a shift. And boy, did life really change.
We both were surprised by how much knowledge and skills we had to learn. But you know what? Nursing school has changed our lives in the best way possible.
Hey y'all, welcome to the Huddle Hub.
I'm Deb.
And I'm Majestic. And in today's huddle, let's talk about what happens prior to entering the program.
So the first thing you do is go to orientation. During orientation, you really have to mentally prepare yourself for lots of information.
Yes.
And when you go, they really recommend that you bring a loved one. So that could be your spouse, a sibling, an adult child, just so they know what's going on in your life when you start the program. When we went to our orientation, our dean came in. I was like, oh, this is scary already.
So I just remember like this hair, nasal flaring. I was like, man, she looked like a dragon lady.
My goodness.
And it was intimidating. She was about business.
Yeah.
Business only.
Love her.
She
We love her
turned
now.
out to be the most amazing person ever.
She is. In the orientation, they talk about being flexible. Now, you have to keep in mind, if you're planning to work, you have to be available because clinicals, it could be nighttime, during the day, in the afternoon, different locations. So keep that in mind when you start the program. If you're living with your partner and you guys have kids, have that talk and see, how are you going to share responsibilities so that you can be able to go to your clinicals and the lectures and all that.
It's a great idea to take a tour of the campus, okay? Prior to, because if you're like me and you're like Deb, we tend to get lost.
A lot.
The point is, you may not know the campus. You need to do a tour of the campus so that you know. Parking.
Yes. See where your parking spots are.
Right.
Because there's staff parking, student parking.
Exactly.
And you want to know your options where you can park, because what if you arrive late to class, that parking spot's full, then you got to figure out where else can you park in a neighborhood or whatnot. And remember, you cannot be late to class.
You cannot
Or they'll
be
close
late.
the door on you.
Yes, they will.
They did to us.
Well, they did. Another thing is the cost of the program. We touched on that a little bit in the first video.
Yeah.
So if you haven't watched the first video, go back and watch the first video. There are several costs that's associated with the program. So I'm talking about things like uniforms, okay? Our uniform was
It was an expensive brand.
Girl, yes. Yes, it was. Yes,
For
it was.
white
For some
stuff.
struggling nursing students, they chose expensive uniforms.
Yeah, they did.
And then also, too, we had to buy our patches and sew them on ourselves.
Yes.
I didn't sew my patch on. I got some glue and I glued my patch on, with the fabric glue. But you had some really good tips.
Yeah, so with the uniforms, I know with our program, they would have some of the students that graduated donate their clothes to the school. And so you can always talk to your dean or administrator there. And if you're struggling or just want to save some money for all the other stuff that you're going to pay for, see if they have some in the office that you can use while you're there, because you're really not going to need them after you graduate.
ATI.
Yes.
So ATI is it was for our school. It was part of our curriculum.
Yes.
You have to purchase the books, okay? It's a series of books every semester. So with your textbooks, they don't provide you those in the program. You have to purchase those, okay? You got to go to the bookstore and you have to purchase those. But pro tip, get the previous edition.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change much, right? So if your school is on the 10th edition, get the 9th edition because it's going to be so much cheaper, but it doesn't change much, okay? So, don't go way back. If they're on the 10th edition, please don't go trying to get the 4th.
I actually had classmates who did this where, you know, they were friends with the semester before them, and they would ask them like, hey, can I use your book from first semester or whatever?
Right.
So make friends with the other students ahead of you too, because, you know, they could be a help to you.
So to be mindful that you need your own supplies. So for example, this is not required, but I would buy things like this, you know, to help me, you know, memorize things. I love color coding. I used to buy a lot of those. So I probably had like 20 packs because you are trying so hard to memorize things. And for me, color coding things help me to memorize. So that's what
Scantron.
Do you guys use Scantrons?
I don't know. I've never seen them
They probably
anymore.
don't even use Scantrons. This is what you would use to take your exams, okay?
Yeah.
They were not free. They were not included. Another thing we had to buy, remember? The big old medical bag.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
In that medical bag, you had, you know, supplies like gauze and syringes, and you had your stethoscope, your blood pressure cuff. It was a lot of little things, but it was required. You really need to have a serious heart-to-heart talk with your loved ones. We want you to go deep with them because the nursing program really does change your life for a little bit.
It does. It requires a lot of sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the talking you need to do talking about the sacrifices you're going to have to make to be successful with your family and your friends and loved ones.
Oh, especially friends. So your friends want to get together and they want to go out, maybe try this new restaurant. Your head is buried in a book. You can't. If they're your true friends, they're going to understand that. But on the flip side, you have those who won't. So this is where you find out who your true friends are. Yeah. Because you have some people that will take it personal because you don't want to go out to, you know, eat with them. It's not that you don't want to go out and eat with them. You literally have to be selfish with your time. This is the time to be selfish. Yeah. Because you need to focus and stay in tune with your goal. Because the minute that you think that you can continue to live your old life, partying, going out, hanging out with your friends, you know, even family too, that's where you're going to see it's a true struggle. And don't fall into the guilt trips either, because you will have some people that will make you feel guilty. You know, and then you start feeling bad because of that. No, that's a trap.
Yeah, and if you're watching it, you're not going to nursing school, and you're just curious, don't do that. Do not do that. Stop it. Stop it. Because they're already going through so much stress. So don't take it personal. Just be supportive, be there for them, and be understanding.
Because it's going to be greater later.
Yeah.
You'll be able to do all of those things. It's going to be greater later. You're going to eat at better restaurants. Your friend is a nurse. Making money.
Oh, man.
So it will. Be patient.
Now, we're not saying that you can't do anything fun, okay? You can go to, like, a baseball game here, a movie there. So you don't want to totally neglect everyone, but you want to try to figure out how you can squeeze for that study time.
You need a healthy balance.
Exactly, a balance of it. My family wanted to go to Disneyland. We had Disneyland passes. I did not want to go.
They lived at Disneyland.
Yeah, I did not want to go. I decided, okay, you know what? I really had to study. So I brought my textbook with me. The textbook I brought actually was a med search book, and it was way bigger than this. Way bigger. So when we went to Disneyland, when we're in the lines, because you know those lines could be 90 minutes long. I got a lot of looks.
Oh, because I would have been looking.
Yeah, like why you come to Disneyland? But you know, I had to do what I gotta do.
Why are you here? But you and your book.
Yeah, but you know,
were you able to ingest that though?
I did. Well, I'm here now. I'm a nurse.
That didn't work. Nothing, girl. That didn't work. Girl, that didn't work.
My daughter was only 4 during that time, and I was balancing so much. So anytime there's waiting, I needed to use that time to study. If I'm sitting there in the car, I'm gonna be looking at my index cards, lines, other places, the bathroom. You know?
Yeah, you studiers at the amusement park. Yeah. If there's any more of you out there, let us know.
I've never seen anyone do that, but you know what? I had to do what I had to do.
Absolutely. Another thing is the support you have in place. You may have support in place, you may not. That looks different for a lot of people. So, for example, my husband is extremely supportive. So, from the time that I decided to go to the nursing program all the way through, it was one time in the program I was done. I wanted to quit. It was just a lot going on. The program itself is difficult, but then when you add all the extra elements like mean teachers, you know, the disrespect that comes with it, all kind of other stuff, it can really get to you.
Yeah.
So I'm at my wit's end. I'm done with this. Mind you, I already had a job in healthcare.
Yeah.
I was already making money. So it's like,
I'm done with this. I'm not going to go through this no more.
I am so through with it. I start bawling my eyes out driving home. So I pull up to my driveway. My husband comes to the door to greet me like he always does. He opens the door. I fall into his chest and I'm bawling. I'm crying. I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't stand my teacher. You know, I just had it. And then my husband says, no, babe, you know, we don't quit over here. You know, you can do this. I understand, you know, you're going through some things, but you're not a quitter. You never quit. We don't quit. Now, come on, let's go in here and let's eat. Let me rub your feet, you know.
Yeah.
That's important.
Not everyone gets that support, though. I remember times where, you know, I would come home after I felt like I bombed a test. And, you know, you study so hard for these exams. And when you feel like you didn't do well, it is just crushes your heart.
Right.
I remember just coming in the door and just crying and falling, not in his arms like you would, but with your hubby. But I fell on the floor. I just landed on the floor. He just let me cry. Okay, because he's like, scared, like, oh my goodness, I don't think she's gonna pass.
She ain't gonna make it.
She's not gonna make it. I think he even said, do you think we need to return your book? So I was like, oh, thanks for the confidence. I'm inventing now. He took credit. He said, you are a nurse because of me.
Never. Let me tell you, you're a nurse because if you're faithful like we are, God first,
yes,
you next. Because no one can make you become a nurse. Yeah. No one can take credit for you becoming a nurse. You're the one who have to study. You're the one who sit at the board, take your board. Yeah. So no one can get that credit. They can say, I helped you, I supported you, but they could never say, you are a nurse because of me. No.
I understand that, like, not everyone's going to have that support.
Right.
Like, you were blessed with
very blessed. Very
support.
Very blessed.
I had good support, too. I had good friends. And but there's some out there, because we know classmates that did not get any support.
At all.
There was some that
At all.
made it a nightmare for them.
Yes.
And so you have to mentally motivate yourself, and it is a mental game. You have to keep going, even if you don't have the support, and just look to your classmate and
because you can find support in your classmate
because they know what you're going through. Right. So another talk that you want to do with your family and for yourself is making sure you take care of yourself. We talk about how you have to make a lot of sacrifices, which you do with your friends, your time, but don't neglect yourself.
You have to make a little time for a mental health day for you.
Yes. If you don't take a break, you will break.
And you will break.
I love getting massages. Just get it once a month.
Me, I am the bath queen.
Yeah. You just got to figure out what you can do for yourself to make sure you don't have a breakdown so that you keep going forward. So
mindful exercises are good. We actually have one, you know, that's short, quick, easy, but it helps with mental clarity. It helps you to relax for a short period of time, and you can get that
on our email list. But you know what? We had some classmates that didn't take a break, and it did cause a meltdown for them.
So we had a classmate, and this classmate just kind of disappeared for a little while. Just disappeared. So everyone is like, you know, what happened? What happened? You know, where are they? 2.5 weeks later, this person reappears. Yeah. And so, of course, we were all curious as to what happened. So, you know, we go over to this person and we're like, what happened? And they were very transparent and said that they had a mental health crisis where they were hospitalized. So
Yeah.
basically 5150. They ended up in acute mental health facility.
Yeah.
Just
So
broke.
it's so important. You never know like what your body's gonna do or your mind's
Right.
gonna do if you don't take care of it.
Right.
Orientation is very important to just mentally prepare you for what you're gonna go through, you and your loved ones and your family.
Right.
And so we highly recommend that that you review this video, you think about it, get your stuff together. If you're working, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna
Exactly.
keep working? Because you gotta be flexible. You have to think about those things before you start the program,
Exactly.
so that you're not stressed and
Right.
anxious. Because you're gonna have all this stress already with the
Right.
nursing program. So
And
take
know
care of all that.
that your routine is not going to be routine. Know that when you get in the program.
So that's it for this section.
That's
This is a long video, so we actually did 3 parts. Stay tuned for our next video, which we continue about the nursing program. We're going to talk about the exams and the classes, what to expect in the classes,
Right.
and some dating tips to be successful in the nursing program. I know it's not what you think, but watch our next video.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.